and welcome to the Launch and Prosper podcast. This is James and Alma Curran. We are with Linchpin Funnels, and we have this show where we talk to ourselves sometimes and to guests. Sometimes we're talking about entrepreneurship. We tend to be biased and kind of focused on the thing that makes us special, which is being a husband and wife, power couple, ups and downs of that, having a child, and jumping into an entrepreneurship game with the full thing happening, with the mortgage, with the school, with the after school stuff, with our own crap, and making it happen. And with that in mind, today our sort of theme is just leveling up.
Yeah.
Leveling up emotionally, leveling up with responsibility, and how entrepreneurship is the vehicle for that, because it kind of forces you to shine a light or focus the lens on the stuff that's been holding you back. So that's what we're here to talk about. You want to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, I always have to feel compelled to highlight this. This isn't necessarily, when it's just James and I, this isn't about what we have heard or read in a book, even though we're both avid readers, as you can see behind us. But we are everything we share in this podcast is from our own experience. Otherwise, why would you listen to us, right? So from our experience, as I said, in some cases we're 3 weeks ahead of you, some cases we're 3 years ahead of you. But from our own experience today, we want to talk about where we were last year. Okay, because our Linchpin Funnels is a fairly new organization. Yes, we have grown, we have added to our team, but we in entrepreneur world, we're babies.
We're babies, yeah. We did the Tony Robbins Business Mastery thing, and they have an explicit like lifetime or life cycle of a company. And there's like newborn and infant and toddler and teenager and young adult and like all this stuff. We're at the second stage.
Yeah, we're infant, right? So here, if you are about to be born, right, if you're about to give birth to your business, just kind of look at it as, you have these infant brother and sister who are showing you the ropes. So we by no means claim to be these super experts. We will not tell you that this is 16 years in the making, because it isn't, right? Into 2022, we've always wanted to be entrepreneurs. That goes without saying. Always, since we were in our 20s, since we even moved in together, we dreamed about becoming entrepreneurs and traveling the world and doing, before it was cool, right? Before blogs existed.
Before Tim Ferriss came out with his book.
The 4-hour work
week. Yeah.
So we've always wanted to do that, but we did not dare to do that until when I went on an entrepreneurship journey in 2016, and then in 22 we both just threw ourselves into it.
Yeah.
So this is like not even 2 years old, folks. So this is why we say, this is like your infant brother and sister leading you on this journey, just to kind of say, hey, this is what happens when you spill milk all over the floor and mom gets mad, right?
It's important to talk about that, because we're not going to be talking about things from a great distance with rosy retrospection or negative retrospection, right? This is stuff that just happened recently. So I love what you said about, we wanted to be entrepreneurs and we didn't do that for a while. Let's talk about some of the reasons why we didn't jump into entrepreneurship, because I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Gosh, the mind wants to trick you, right? And not because it's a jerk, but the mind wants to trick you because its sole purpose is to keep you safe. Your mind's purpose is not to make you happy or fulfilled. Its purpose is to help you survive. And as that, we all have a purpose, so we just kind of march towards that purpose. So the mind's purpose is to help you survive. And entrepreneurship is dangerous. It's risky. So the mind does not want to take the risk, which could possibly kill you, because anything that's unfamiliar, anything that could potentially pose some sort of risk could also kill you. So with that pre-frame in mind, why didn't we become entrepreneurs earlier? Well, because our mind painted entrepreneurship as something very scary.
Right. Why? Because of parents, right? Because of neighbors and friends, because of conventional wisdom, go to college, get your certainty, prove that you can kind of withstand those tribulations and come out the other side a victor, to kind of prove that you're trustworthy enough to be given the responsibility of performing certain duties. That seemed like the way to go. But we did that to a degree. I mean, to a small degree, and I mean that specifically. Like, I have an associate's in science degree in web application development, which is like as far as I took my schooling, and then got into the world. But it felt like that was the way to go. You kind of like lean on, this is like encoded in it too, without really knowing. You're leaning on the others to take responsibility for taking the risk, and you're kind of fitting yourself and creating a puzzle piece that plugs into the system, so that you are safe. So to kind of undo that and figure it out on your own, that was just terrifying to me anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of have a little bit of a different experience. For me, uh, everybody I grew up around, there was a lot of, everybody kind of had jobs, but there was a strong entrepreneurial sense, where the family that I lived around, which is my dad's family, huge family, there was so much entrepreneurship going on. Some people did have jobs, and they had great jobs. There were accountants, there were teachers, there were all different kinds of uh, jobs, but that was really not the money maker for them. Having livestock, having farmland, having land, having real estate, that was really what was creating generational wealth. And that was kind of a security blanket for us as I was growing up. For us kids, we knew that that's really what helps sustain you. So I had that foundation where depending on you is the only way to guarantee sustainability. And so to me, entrepreneurship was not, it was just a no brainer. But what happened for me was I had this debilitating fear to be different, of being different. It was, I felt that if I was the same as you, and the same as you, and the same as you, and if I, that was the only way for me to survive. And that is really coming from mainly my experience in the war in Bosnia. So if I blend in, if I'm just like everybody else, I will survive. So I remember always wanting to be this entrepreneur, always wanted to have these things. And then I would wonder, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just be like them? I surrounded myself with all the career job seekers and job keepers. And it's like, why
Married
can't you
one.
why can't you be like him, and then everything would be great? And why can't you just be like her? Why can't you just settle on one job? Why can't you just be happy with your job? Just be happy with your job. And I made myself so wrong for wanting to be an entrepreneur, that entrepreneurship was just this ugly, scary thing for me. So you and I kind of come at it from different places, is what I'm saying. For you, that's what you were brought up with. And for me, I was brought up with the opposite energy. But along the way, I made my energy wrong and
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we sort of started leaning into it, I know you have a similar experience. It's like, okay, that sounds cool to have your own business, set your own hours, like all the positives. It's funny how like we think about the positive aspects when we're sort of like looking to do the thing, and then when we're about to do it, we can think about the negative aspects. That sort of transition of like hope and energy, and then like, oh shit, I got to make sure I don't fail, or whatever. For me, it's really became a thing of like looking for certainty, looking for ways that I could make sure that it wouldn't fail, because failure could mean, in the worst sense, like lack of food, lack of shelter, lack of safety for the family. As the guy who was good at the job thing, I was bringing in lots of money, and it felt like I was valuable there. So to be out on my own with only a narrow skill set, because again, I created this puzzle piece that plugged in very, very specifically into a machine. As a software developer, I'm not doing sales, I'm not doing customer interactions, I'm not doing even making sure that it's good. We have QA people to do that. I'm just building the thing, right? So I was good at that. So I would look for ways to increase certainty by doing so much research. And I think that, we talk to entrepreneurs, in the ClickFunnels group and friends and stuff, where it's like you're just looking for that certainty. You're looking for that is the market there? Are they going to like what I have to say? Am I going to be able to stand out? Just research and research and research without taking action. And I know that I was in that mode for years.
Yeah, for sure. And getting you out of that mode was it was always sounded like, yes, we'll do it, but wait a minute, just wait, we will one day down the road, right? And it was always just this like moving target of when we were gonna do it, and that was really for the sake of safety. And I'm more on the opposite side of that. I'm like, you know what, we'll figure it out, we'll get there. But then once I take that step, I freak out.
Yeah.
I would lose my cool, and I'd be like, what do we do with this? How do we do this? We didn't think this through. Figure it out for me. Like,
Right.
so we kind of, it was really messy. But the what I wanted to say about this whole entrepreneurship is that I don't know about you, and I would love to hear your experience on this. Uh, for me, entrepreneurship is just a no brainer. It is something that I believe everybody should do. And here's why. I think of it as, let's say you're in a tribe. Let's say, since we live in America, you're a Native American tribe, right? You belong to the tribe. There are all these people who are part of that tribe. Everybody has their role. And then one day you grow up and you learn the ropes, right? You learn the rope, you figure out how to do things and what your role is within that tribe. And now you grow up and it's time for you to go and start your own tribe, right? And you go out there, and now you know what kind of vibe, what kind of energy, what you bring to the table, and you start your own tribe. You get married, you have your own little children, and like you start recruiting people into your tribe, and that's how I think of entrepreneurship. Everybody should, in my belief, have a job, figure out what they're good at within somebody else's tribe, and then they mature in that position, in that role, and they enjoy it, and they think it brings it is of high quality, and they believe that whatever they're doing solves a lot of problems for a lot of people. Then they go out there and start their own tribe. So I believe that entrepreneurship is a natural progression of maturity and responsibility. So is everybody an entrepreneur? Of course, I'm not an idiot. No, most people will not never become entrepreneurs. But I also believe that it is the natural progression of why, just like most people don't leave a tribe, right? They just stick in and stay in it, and they consider it sensible thing to do, responsibility to the chief and everybody else within the tribe. So like everybody has their own reasons, but and that's fine. That's possibly natural for them, and it is also natural to become an entrepreneur.
I agree. I think about nature and I think about variety, diversity. We listen to Tony Robbins a lot. We have this one uh, training session called Beautiful State that we've been listening to over and over again. And you see him say, like, if you want to know what God loves, go out in nature. He loves diversity. And taking what you're talking about with this entrepreneurship should be this evolution kind of thing where we do find out, we acquire the skills essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's about skill acquisition initially, and then you kind of venture out and do your own thing. I'm not a huge like history person, but when I think about like the olden times, I think about people doing that. I think about smiths and crafters and creators, and that being kind of the way that you did things, and it was more independent. And it feels like we've definitely lost something with this large organization and the models that we have, which I know it like allows us to compete on the global scale. Like there's reasons why that's a valuable thing too, but I know that it also is a safety thing when you're going to a job and you're getting paid by the minute or a salary, because it is so different when you're out on your own and you have to hunt every day to go serve your audience and all that. And that was a big scary thing for us to make that transition.
Absolutely. And it is a false sense of security. And we all know it and we all throw that nonchalantly around. But you have gotten laid off before.
Multiple
Like
times,
one
yeah.
day you went to work and then the next, and then by noon, you're calling me and saying, hey, they just did a reorganization and I, I got cut, right? So we work with entrepreneurs. Just last week I was talking to a client and they were going through a reorganization and they were like just picking out these names as if they were just little pegs, right? And they like got tossed. And it's just, so these people who had a job last Friday, they don't have a job today, and today's Thursday. They don't have a job, and it is absolutely false sense of security because we get it secondhand here, right? We witness these company owners pulling out roles out of their org chart and just removing them, and people's names are assigned to those roles and those people no longer have a job, and now they have kids, they have mortgage, they have all of that. So it really guarantees nothing.
It's a false sense of security. And when that stuff happened, I always found that I tended to thrive in that situation.
Yes.
Like if I got laid off, it was like, oh shit. And then also like I'm hitting the books extra hard to study up for whatever programming language to get whatever job that I need to get like the next week, essentially, which is what I usually did. And what I love about entrepreneurship is you have those oh shit moments all the fucking time, especially in the beginning. But even, I think it's less so now, but it's not like we're immune to it. We have some ups and downs even in recent months, but you get to find out what you're made of when the bottom drops out and you have to go figure it out quickly. That's one of the things that was kind of unexpected, but I really love about it because in the spirit of leveling up, when you have a bad day at work and you can say F the boss, F this, F that, and you can kind of knock back a few drinks and watch some TV, like you're not really doing anything to be effective in the world. But when you have your own stuff, it's like this today kicked my ass. I need to do something to make sure this doesn't happen again. You have to change yourself. You have to level up. You have to get more sleep or charge more or do more outreach or cut the amount of distractions, like whatever it is that is causing the suffering. You can make a change. You are effective. You are consequential, but you need to be consequential so that you don't have a repeat. And that's one of the gifts of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And one of the things we were just talking about this morning in a different context, but I think it applies here too. We were, again, in the beautiful state training that Tony Robbins talks about. He asked for the 3 magnificent moments of your life, right? If you can come up with those things. And I was sharing with James how one of them was me being in San Diego and sitting across the water and working and serving clients and getting ready to go to an event. It was such a great experience. But when we think about entrepreneurs, and I just love entrepreneurs, it's like there's just like somebody says, I'm going to start my, I don't know, essential oils business. Yes, go for it. Yeah, you can do it. Right. It's like, I just want to. Thank you, Mason. So are you?
What's up, brother? Can't wait to talk to you later tonight, man.
But it's like, yeah, go for it, because it is this responsibility that you're taking on, and for yourself, for your family, for your clients, for the world altogether. I will do whatever it takes to support you. So I am a huge fan. But and I remember I was telling James, I'm like, I remember standing at some of these events because I've been to so many of, especially Tony Robbins events, and I'll stand next to a very successful person, and they're like, if you're in Tony Robbins environment and you have like a platinum partnership lanyard around you, you made it, not only financially, but you're contributing to the world on a different level. Yeah. And I was telling James how, standing next to that person, it's kind of like standing next, if you've ever been at the Pacific Ocean, and you're standing next to this giant rock sticking out of the water, and the waves are so strong, the wind is insane, and it's just nuts. And this person just stands there. It's like this giant boulder just standing there, unshakable. Nothing can touch them. And you're like, man, you're massive. You are safe. you are safe. I can relax around
I
you.
can stand on
I
top of
can
you.
stay on top of you and you're gonna hold me, right? Versus these little shells that are just being thrown around by the waves and they're like, right? It's like I just got a picture of screaming shells. And and it's such a huge thing for me. Like, so, and every person who dares to take the step into entrepreneurship, they may not be yet that giant boulder.
You can't be.
Of
If
course,
it's your
but
first
they're
go
going
around.
there. They're about to be that.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah.
about to become that. And every day that they don't give up, they're about to become that. Every day that we don't give up, every day that we haven't given up, and trust me, there have been so many times when we wanted to give up.
Bro.
Every day we don't give up. First of all, we're like, okay, I'm one day further away from qualifying for that job that I had.
My skills are one day more antiquated, obsolete.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's totally true, man. Especially in the development world, man.
Exactly. And I'm one day closer to becoming that giant boulder sticking out of the ocean. So I guess in today's episode, as we kind of are ringing it, is really about you becoming that boulder, right? It's a, if you're in it and if you're considering it and you're being pulled or tossed around with all these little seashells and little rocks, please find your boulder, find someone you can stand next to. And I can almost guarantee, I mean, we had a lawyer last week at our podcast. So I don't want to make any guarantees.
No guarantees.
I've learned so much from that
Also,
beautiful human.
30-day free trial, refunds, no problem. Just don't take me to court.
Yeah. So, but if we think about that person, that boulder that you can find, you can say, hey, you boulder, can I stand on your shoulders for a moment? Can I just rest here? Can you guide me for a little bit? And it's almost a guarantee that they definitely will. Because I've never met a successful person that said, why did you do that? Why did you quit your job?
Right.
Why would you ever do that? That's crazy. I don't understand you, right? They're cheering you on like no one in the world. So I guess find your boulder.
Right. And what I think, like, say you don't have a boulder, say you're not a boulder, say if you're, married or in a partnership, you guys are not boulders, you're just shells kind of flopping around, Two things came up for me when you were saying that. One is like, I know this isn't how it actually happens with boulders in water, but if we think about accretion is this process of like layering on top more and more and more to become more. I think that that's what we actually do as we go through this process. We're constantly adding new pieces of evidence that we can survive something and new pieces of evidence that we can withstand something or even thrive and kind of do a good job at it, and eventually kick ass at it and have more and more responsibility and more capability and more effective.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to bolderness, leaning into a community is your boulder. Making the investment to be in the mastermind or to join the program or to just surround yourself with the people that aren't going to question you for doing this risky thing. They're going to say, like, it's like the people that take the red pill, from the Matrix. It's like, oh yeah, you're doing this thing. You're electing to not do the default thing that everyone else is doing. We're fortunate to have Mason drop by and give us support. This is a guy who I just got inspired by last week. So I reached out to some members of our 2CCS community, and we all got on a call last Thursday. We're going to have another one today. And he was talking about his wins and how, he got this number of people to join his program. Like, man, I said something like, those are really, really cool. Like, how many do you want? What does success look like to you? He's like, I want all of them. And I was just fucking floored by that. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my God, that's my guy, So like, it's a completely different thing. Like in that moment, for that fraction of time, Mason was my boulder because he was
exactly.
he was showing me what is possible when it comes to serving your audience. And he's not doing it because he wants to brag, because he wants that money. This is a dude that wears like freaking, regular t-shirts and like there's no strip. Like he isn't a flashy guy, but he wants to serve that many people and make that much of an impact in his realm, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I learned from that experience, thank you for bringing that up, is often when we ask how many do you want, we throw these numbers out. It's like, oh, I want 100 of them, or I want 1,000 of them. And that is coming from a selfish place, right? That specific number. And here's why I believe it's coming from a selfish place, because you're thinking about how much money that means to you. It's like, okay, I want, let's say, 1,000 of them, right?
We have
It's
this thing for us. We want to get 1,000, so we can basically get our 2 Comic Club awards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you're making that about you, right?
Yeah.
You're really, oh, I want 1,000 so I can get this, so I can get this 2 Comic Club award, so I can have this on my wall, so so I can say that I'm making $97,000 a month, right? It's like, but when you say I want all of them, I don't know how many Mason can get, right? Is it 7? So that's awesome. Is it 7 million? That's freaking way better, right? But he's not thinking about me, right? He's just thinking about how I want all the ones that I can help. And that is so valuable when you hear something like that. And maybe to Mason, he's probably like, why are these people still talking about me? But that is that when you kind of find your people within a community, it becomes invaluable, because that was such a massive lesson for us.
And there were plenty in that call, but it just shows you how, like, what we also want to provide, not just experience, but also actionable, like, takeaways. So the takeaway there is like, yes, you need to be the bolder. Yes, it's possible for you to be way more responsible and way more powerful than you were yesterday or a year ago or 10 years ago or whatever. But one of the ways to do that takes some money or some time is to surround yourself around people who are doing the thing and are going to be there for you and going to encourage you and going to call you out on your shit and challenge you, but also support you when you're having a tough time.
And you meet your own limitations, you meet your own devils. One of the things that I remember for us was when we talked about generational wealth, and that was such a new concept to you, because you were like, what, it's because for the longest time you were just like, me, I don't need that, I don't want to make that, I right? It's like it's like all the me, myself, and I kind of things, right, in my own world. And when you entertain the concept of generational wealth, of taking care of Ella and Ella's kids and setting the foundation, something clicked, right? Something changes in you. It's like, wait a minute, it is my responsibility to build that up, to create that, to no longer just focus on me. And when you take that responsibility, whether it's for your child, your children's children, or for humanity overall, you just become this unstoppable force that no flu, no fatigue, no bad night of sleep can shake. And that's what we're here to share.
Finding your why.
Yeah. And it has to be one hell of a why.
Yeah.
All right, that's it from us today.
That's it, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the love and the comments and support. We're going to keep doing this every week. If you want to be on the podcast, just reach out. Shoot an email to info@linchpinfunnels.com
and let us know why.
Yeah. Drop a comment below. We'd love to have you on. Now, I just realized Mason and all the people in this mastermind are going to be excellent podcast
absolutely
guests.
Yeah.
So we'll get them on as well.
All right.
Cool. All right. Love y'all. Guys. Have a great week. Peace.
Bye.